Okay, I think we can get started. We've still got a few people coming in, but I can see Simon's here already, and so maybe we could just get going. And this is being recorded for information sharing as well, so I'll be able to give this to everyone after the session, and also for Simon's benefit as well. Okay, so yes, thank you all for coming today to this session. So Simon's going to talk to you about Benevity, the platform itself, and the benefits for corporate volunteering, but also what is corporate volunteering as well. Okay, so Simon, I'm happy to share over to you if you wanted to take control of the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to start the session just by talking a little bit, and then I can share my screen and show everyone the platform. So I want to keep this session as sort of informative for everyone involved as possible. However, I'm going to start just by introducing myself. Hello, I'm Simon. I'm part of the nonprofit partnerships team at Benevity. So you might be asking yourself, who is Benevity? I can see maybe one or two people I've chatted to before. I can see Charlotte. You're in the meeting as well. Hello, Charlotte. So it's good to see you here. We are a donation platform first and foremost. So we were founded 15 years ago in Canada, and that was to really address the need for companies to donate to nonprofits. And there was a lot of money being lost just by the way the money was being donated. A lot of it was just being sent by check and not really arriving where it was needed to be, and something to the tune of about $60 million was being lost. So the founder got together with some of his tech buddies and started Benevity really to address that, and it was to facilitate electronic payments. And some of our biggest initial clients were people like Nike and Google, and really the platform sort of grew and built from there. So yes, we do exist to kind of facilitate that sort of corporate philanthropy role. We do also facilitate relationship building between corporates and nonprofits, because you'll be wondering, okay, what's the benefit to us, and where does Benevity sort of fit into there? So yes, first and foremost, just high level, we are a donation and volunteering platform at this moment, and we offer companies the ability to search for nonprofits on their platform. So it is a corporate giving solution, and a way for employees themselves to take control of how they give back to the community. So no longer are we in a position where the giving is decided solely by the company. Rather, the company guides their employees to give back in the way that they see fit. So that sort of democratizes giving. So my role really is to provide information to nonprofits in the UK and Ireland. So you might be wondering, okay, what's a Canadian-based company got anything to do with us? So we operate globally. We have over 2 million nonprofits on our platform, and we work with local regulators to vet our nonprofits on our platform. So on the company side, we have nearly 1,000 clients, and those would include people like Google, like Microsoft, SAP, Zurich, who some of you might be familiar with as well, in Swindon. So really the remit of nonprofits and companies that we can support is sort of endless. There's so many employees encapsulated within that client base. It's a large, it's over 2 million users, well above that. So within the UK, we have around 370 companies, and that includes locally HQ'd organizations and international ones as well. The only requirement that we help a company give back is that they have an office in the UK. So the kinds of nonprofits that Benevity supports can range from churches, sports organizations, educational institutions, as well, of course, as charities and social enterprises. The only requirement we really have is that you're registered on the Charity Commission, or you're registered on Company House as a social enterprise. If you're any one of those other institutions, then we would manually vet those, but most of the time the vetting is done manually. If you're with the Charity Commission, that database feeds directly to us, On the back end, we don't share any information publicly without anyone's consent. But that information is there to be claimed by a user. So if you're a member of a nonprofit and you're with the Charity Commission, you just have to log in, say, okay, I work for this charity, I'm claiming this profile, and then you can update it with more information and add things like giving opportunities, which I will get to a bit later. So if anybody in this group is part of a like a community project that's not registered as a charity, you can still be supported if you have an affiliation with another organization. So for example, if you're affiliated with with like a volunteer organization, for example, is something that I've spoken to Alana about a little bit, then that's a conversation that can be had. It's a possibility. And then keeping things as simple as possible, that can just mean relationship building. How do you get in front of companies? How do you distract their usual attention away from Save the Children or the Trust will Trust, for example, and how do you direct that focus onto yourselves? And that's really where democratized giving comes into play. So how does this all work? So if I'm a company and I want to use Benevity, what does that mean? So once a company has access to our platform, they have the ability to search for an organization. So I'm going to sort of run through how that looks on the company end, and then I'll run through how it looks on the charity end. And if there are any questions at the end, we'll be happy to answer them. So I'm going to get on and share my screen. And does anyone have any kind of burning questions that they have to ask in the meantime while I'm just figuring this out? Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay, great.
Yes.
Perfect. So this is our a dashboard. This is what a company employee would see once they log in. So they can search for a nonprofit. So I'll just show you through the functionality, and then we can kind of delve into a bit more about why companies are doing this, etc. So we'll just go through some of the functionality, and then we can get to that, just to give you some context. So if I want to search specifically for one organization, I want to search for Oxfam GB, it works a little bit like Google search. So based on keywords, it will give me the most relevant information to me. And any employee within a company can do this. They all set up their own profile. They can put their location, what skills they have as well. So if they want to do something like skills-based volunteering, the platform can match the skills to the opportunities. So based on the organization, you can write a blurb about yourself, and this will be something that is visible to potential donors or volunteers to bring them into your own ecosystem. And this part here, 100% donation matching, that is referring to the commitment that the company that employs that person has made. So 100% donation matching just means one-to-one donation matching. So if I contribute £10, then £10 will be given by my company as well. That will vary across organizations. So if we take that cross section of 1,000 clients, most of them will have donation matching. So that's when it starts to get a little bit more interesting. Why would I engage with companies? Well, this is one of them. You have that donation matching at your disposal. And then in the project section, this is another place where company employees can come to see what that organization has going on. For Oxfam GB, they don't have any donation projects, but if I went to somebody like, let's say, the British Red Cross, projects is a section that gives people the ability to attribute their money to something that they want the funds to be guided or not restricted in a way, but just to give them some visibility on where they would like the money to go in an ideal world. There's nothing in the terms and conditions that say that the funds have to be restricted, so you're sort of protected in that way. But yeah, they can go and read about the project and see, okay, yep, that's what I want to happen. And then once a donation has gone through on the platform, the nonprofit will see that donation in a donation report. So there's really no chance of this whole give and forget idea. The ability to donate is always visible, it's always present, and then you get the information on your side to then thank the donors. And as you may or may not be aware, thanking donors is critical in that relationship building process. So yes, when a employee is making a donation, so I'm usually based out of Barcelona, but I'm actually over in Trowbridge, not too far away. So I split my time between the two places. But my profile is coming up in euros, so it makes that currency donation for me. And then I have the option of paying by credit card, debit card, or PayPal. Sometimes there's an option to take it out of a giving account if the company has rewarded me with donation currency. So then I can review this donation. And then, yeah, it will just say, this is what's going to happen. And if I've shared my email address, then that is really a signal to the charity that they can thank me. I can, of course, make the donation anonymously, but yeah, most of the time people will be sharing their contact details, so you can send a thank you. One of the questions I get asked the most, I guess, is can we thank our donors? And the answer is a resounding yes if they've shared their email address. That's very important. Okay, so now that we've kind of had a look at the platform, I want to just go back onto this point. Why would we get involved with companies, and why are they doing this? Why are they getting involved in CSR? There are a number of answers to that question, and the answer is not always the same, depending on the company that you work for. So, I mean, for example, Benevity have their own, targets on giving and so forth. But essentially, we exist because corporate philanthropy exists, and without nonprofits, we wouldn't exist because otherwise there would be no place for the money to go. But if you take, Google or Microsoft, their pillars will look different. The things that they're focusing on might look different. They might be one might be more focused on professional reintegration. The other might be more focused on food poverty. So all that being said, there are a number of parameters a company can put up onto their programs, and one of those can be the donation matching. This can fluctuate depending on the time of the year. So around giving season, that can be 3-to-1 matching, and they can also do sort of limited time sort of fundraising campaigns that last a month or a couple of weeks. So yeah, they have these numbers that they're trying to hit. They want to donate certain amounts of money per quarter or per year. They have grants programs, and they also want to engage their employees. If they can do all of those things in one place under one roof, then they would probably prefer to do that, because then it's less administrative burden on their side, and they can also drive further engagement and get more impact. So what they found is by combining this employee engagement and giving, they're able to drive a lot more impact that way. And the engagement that they see for their employees is actually driving retainment within their organization. So it has a number of benefits. There's a number of outputs there. So yes, employee retention. It looks better, of course, when they're trying to employ new people. And it's also combining different departments. So they've got their employee engagement department, they've got their development department, HR. They're all working together to drive this program together. So they're able to get more buy-in, and they're able to communicate these activities more effectively to their employees. So more people can donate, and that's really the bottom line of it. We want more people to donate. The companies want their employees to donate more. So the money is there for the nonprofits to really capitalize on. So going back to the platform and what it can do, you can also volunteer. So you can also sign up for volunteering activity. I will show you what the volunteering activities look like in this section here. So the volunteering can be virtual or in person, and through volunteering, it's going to be the most effective way to connect with companies. So if it's virtual, that means that regardless of their location, if they're a remote employee based in Swindon or based in London or Birmingham, they can still get engaged, and that's important because then you can diversify your sort of your donor base. And when we are looking at volunteering activities, we try to have all of the information as engaging and well, clear as possible, really. We want the volunteers to know what they're going to be doing, when they're going to be doing it, and where. We can see at the top the kinds of pillars that the activity supports. An engaging, well, a lovely image. The locations, and this is just so it's easily searchable for any of these clients in these locations. We've got the length of the activity, a bit of an esoteric number here. It's just showing that any number of people can engage with this activity at any time. So yeah, Mercy Corps partners with local organizations worldwide to support people healing from trauma caused by conflict, disaster, and displacement. Also, why this activity is important. People want to know that what they're contributing to is affecting the kind of the main outcomes of the nonprofit. And then the tasks, of course, what they're expected to do in the session. And once they have read this and say, okay, yeah, that sounds good, I can apply for this, they can suggest a date and a time to volunteer. So here it's just, yeah, please book a session within the above time frame. Monday to Friday is usually the most popular time for corporates to get involved with that, because they are given a set number of volunteering time that they can contribute in a calendar year. So if that's 2 days or 3 days out of the year, then that will be just sort of racked up on an ongoing basis, depending on how many hours this activity goes on for. And this time can be matched with a donation as well. So over 60% of our clients, they have something called volunteer rewards. And that's when the lines become a little bit blurred between volunteering and giving. So you're starting to see that there are multiple ways that engaging with company can actually generate money without too much burden administratively. So if we have a virtual activity, especially if it can be self-led, then this is something that can run by itself once the content is out there, for for people to get involved with. And then as a non-profit, as a member of the non-profit engagement team, I would be looking at our content for how we can match the activities with what our clients want to do, essentially. So this is what happened quite recently. Actually, we were looking for engagement opportunities for Costa Coffee, for example, or Nationwide in Swindon, and we were looking for nonprofits to help connect them with what was going on, or discover new organizations that they weren't previously aware of. So we can go onto the platform and search the location, and it will show me what's going on in the area, really. We can recommend those to the clients, and they can either say, yeah, that's really interesting to us, or we would like you to recommend us some different ones as well. So yeah, some of these will be on the ground, some of them will be virtual, but you can see some kind of well-known names in there. Some activities will be set up by the companies themselves. So if they have a relationship, then they can just create it themselves based on the information that you've shared with them directly. So it doesn't have to be applicable to everybody. So if you have a special relationship with one company and you want to have things very guided, or you want it to be free versus paid, if that's the structure that you work to, then this platform allows you all of that facility. So from here, do you have any questions at this point? Because I feel like I am waffling a bit.
Simon, yes. Can you just explain, how do we get onto those as a charity? How do we get listed there?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, at the beginning of the meeting, I mentioned that we work with the Charity Commission. So if you're registered with the Charity Commission, you have a charity number, or if you're registered as a CIC, for example, on Company House, then we can search our database and find your organization, and we just send you a link to register. Alternatively, there is a link to there is a form to register online. You can just enter your charity details, and then our system will automatically match your details with what's on our system. If it's not there for whatever reason, then we can also do a manual check too. So we've got separate teams. We've got operations team, our vetting team, and then our non-profit engagement team. And then on the other side, we've got client success team who meet directly with these companies. So really, there's the whole funnel. But yeah, starting right at the beginning, it's that registration.
And there's been another question from Cher that does this include does each of these forms that we complete, are they the same titles, headings for each thing as you've demonstrated on here, so that we know where to fill them in, how to fill them in?
Yeah, so there will
Do
be a
they
drop.
follow that pattern? Yeah.
Yeah, there will be a drop down of what kind of organization you are. That part is, and even if you don't see exactly which organization you are, if you if you're a school and you don't see school as the option, you can still register as just a charity, and we will do the searching on the back end, so you still won't fall through the net, as it were.
Okay, I think what she meant was that whether the headings you've just shown us,
Oh, yeah.
are they preset so that we would all fill in the same thing for our own charities?
Yeah,
The same
yeah,
pattern.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's preset.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. And you're saying that we could just send you some information now and you would get onto it. If I give you my charity number.
Yeah. So after this call, I don't know, Alana, if you want to share my email address and people can just send me their details.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, of course.
Because that's really that's part of my day to day. So I would help with that onboarding. So if you send me your charity details, then I can look on the system and then just send you what you need, essentially.
Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, and if it wasn't clear, or if it didn't make it clear, or if you haven't checked the link that was in the invite, the platform is free to sign up. So we're supported by the companies. So the companies kind of sign up to use Benevity, but we're able to do all this because they exist and they want to do this. So as a result, we have this facility to help you and generate more money. Essentially, it's really the benefit that I see from the conversations I've had with nonprofits is that diversification of the income stream, and to really de-risk yourselves. If you're having to rely on government funding just solely, then having companies give to you as well can really help to not stress as much, basically. That's fine, Katie. Lovely for you to join us. Thank you.
Just a quick question, Simon. Well, hopefully a quick one. I just wanted to ask about the sort of requirements in terms of the charities that are listed. So my charity operates under, so my charity number would be registered under national charity, but we operate more like a franchise. So I am a separate local one in Swindon, for example, but I need to operate under that national registration number. My accounts are separate, my fundraising targets are separate, everything is separate. I'm basically on my own like a franchise, but I need to operate under the branded name. How does that work on your website?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So when every charity has their own profile, and that is locked to a charity number. If you're not a federated charity, as in you don't have every location doesn't have their own number, you do have to operate under that same profile, but you can add projects. So I would have to speak to the person who is the manager of that main profile to add you as a project. So if someone did want to give back to your branch, then they could do so through the project, and we could share that with the clients in the area. And we could also advertise volunteering activities or engagement opportunities that are tied to your location. So we're only engaging corporates in your area.
Brilliant. So effectively, I need to speak to our national team for them to sort of engage and get that registered. And then, because obviously we operate on a franchise in the whole country, so they would add us as projects in every city and then do that separate.
Yeah. I mean, well, the lowest
No.
or the easiest solution would be to just add you initially, or give you access to the profile to edit your own information. So you can add as many sub-users as you want. So if you're a charity and you just want somebody to deal with the fundraising, they can go in and edit that section. And if you've got a separate manager for volunteering, then they can go in and edit that section. So you get the idea. It doesn't have to be kind of full access. But yeah, it would for you would need to chat with the national person, And if they wanted to do it wholesale, like add all locations at once, then of course they can do that.
And then we would become the sub users, the local ones, and
Yeah.
then we could. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, thank you.
I've just noticed I've got Judith as well, who's got a
Thank you.
question. I'm not sure if we've got time, but if that's okay.
It's really quick.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Sorry, I missed the start of the session. You might have covered it. So just to clarify, you get funded by the companies. You're operationally, you can work because you are funded by the companies so that's one question. And I just wondered, and apologies if you covered it again, but how successful is it? Do you have any stats as to your successes, just in case I would like to sell this into my leadership team, but it'd be good to get any sort of numbers that you've got in terms of success to be able to thank you.
Of course. So in terms of grants, so I can give you just some sort of raw statistics across the whole platform. So to date, we've had $30 billion go through the platform in grants. Through individual donations, it's another 15 billion. So yeah, you can imagine that some of the larger beneficiaries, some of the larger charities would be people like the Red Cross and Doctors Without Borders. That's something that we publish in our State of Corporate Volunteering report, and that's something that I could either share with you directly, or Alana, you could share after this meeting. It's really good to have an overview of what what does engagement look like from a corporate point of view, and what are they trying to achieve there. Yeah, and it kind of highlights things about what's been the uptake in virtual volunteering since COVID, for example, and how is that helping to level the playing field, really, and get companies to engage. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, Judith. We also have
it does.
Great.
Thank you. But if it's okay to share your email on the chat at the end or something, then if that's okay, then I just email direct afterwards at some point.
Yeah, and we do have a dedicated team for the UK as well, to make sure that our clients in the UK are engaging with nonprofits, that we're not just North American focused. So yeah, if you do have any sort of any content, any kind of volunteering that you want to get out there, I would be the person for you to contact. Because then, yeah, if you've got anything interesting in terms of kind of on the ground volunteering in Swindon, or virtual volunteering even, then we can advertise that further afield. Can a charity use the information to engage with a corporate rather than wait for them to contact us? It's tricky one, because just by having this conversation and for you to sort of get to know who I am, you're definitely less far removed than if you don't have a direct contact. And the way that we gain interest from companies is through volunteering mainly, and it's always the first rung of the ladder. We see this as sort of a funnel. So it starts with engagement, it starts with relationship building, and then funding will come as a result of that. But it does usually start with volunteering and meeting people. So by getting to know people, you're opening the door essentially. And volunteers, they are 70% more likely to donate back to an organization they've contributed to. So that's another little nugget of information for you, Judith, on the success of the platform and how we're linking volunteering and giving. Yeah, you're welcome, Cher.
There was. Oh, sorry. Apologies. There was one briefly before from Bal, just mentioning, do corporates tend to donate to charities over CICs?
So yeah, going back to my point about democratizing giving, this is really up to the employees themselves. So they're not really going to see much difference between a charity or a CIC. They're more concerned about the impact. And if you are vetted and registered on the Benevity platform, you've done the hard part. Okay, you're a valid organization, you're doing good in the world. And that's all they care about. So whether you're a CIC or a charity is irrelevant in this case. But yeah, they are using us to sort of become that trusted source of truth for who they get back to. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're welcome, Val. I don't know if that answers everybody's questions. I am available via email if you have anything kind of burning that hasn't been covered in this meeting as well. So yeah, thank you all for your time. It's been really fun.
Yeah, yes, I'll do the recording. Send the recording out to everybody, of course. So is there anything further, Simon, that you need to show or continue with?
I think that's quite a lot of information. If you've never heard of Benevity before, there's quite a lot to deal with. Usually a non-profit will be on the platform at the request of a company. So therefore, okay, how do we approach it from the other way? So yeah, just to be clear on that side, it is through content, it is through volunteering, because that's something that we can actively talk to our clients about. If it's a fundraising opportunity, we can't make those initial connections with the fundraising opportunity, but by having volunteering and fundraising opportunities tied to your profile, one can help the other, if that makes sense. So if you get started on the right foot with the volunteering and engagement, start thinking about that, and how can corporates engage with us, then we can start to think about how does that translate to donations.
Oh, thank you very much, Simon. Yes, that's good. It's great that you've been able to talk to everyone today. But yes, of course, the first step, isn't it, is getting the profile or getting themselves out there, if that's what they want to do, for example, and then promote. That's an easier way to promote themselves across another platform that is being looked at. So it is beneficial for smaller groups as well as the larger ones, I suspect. But in terms of the volunteering side of things and the corporate aspect, then of course, if there's any further questions that anyone has, then I am assuming, Simon, yes, like you mentioned, you'd be available if you wanted to email him. But of course, I'll send the links for the actual Benevity page, and then you can go forward from there and investigate as you need to. Okay. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you, everybody. I know it was a bit of a quick one. I set an hour just in case, but that's been very helpful. Okay. Thank you very much, Simon.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Very
That's
helpful.
okay.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
everyone. Bye-bye.